Based on the old television game show 1 versus 100, in which contestants are pitted against an audience group, this activity is designed to illustrate what Friedrich von Hayek famously identified as the knowledge problem, and how market institutions overcome the knowledge problem through prices and decentralized decision makers. Hayek's knowledge problem is the idea that knowledge is not given to anyone in totality. Rather, it's widely dispersed and highly localized. This fragmented, dispersed nature of knowledge presents a formidable obstacle to centralized decision-making in normal times. How much more imposing must that obstacle be in the chaos of disaster? This activity puts students in the role of decision makers. Asked to respond to the specific circumstances of time and place, they learn the importance of local knowledge, the difficulty of accessing the right knowledge at the right time, and the reality that even good intentions and hard work may not suffice to overcome the knowledge problem, especially in the urgent circumstances of disaster. The activity sets the stage for further study of the roles that different institutions, markets, government, and nonprofits can play in the aftermath of disasters. To prepare for this activity, you will need a copy of the lesson slides, as well as 3 to 5 tickets per student. 1 per student for each round of the game that you plan to play. You could also use small candies or even Post-it notes. The tickets represent prizes, but you get to choose what the tickets represent, like a 1-minute tardy pass, homework points, or a chance in a drawing. While most students won't win anything, there is a chance that someone could win big. Students could earn as much as 5 plus the number of students in the class, so select a prize accordingly. For example, don't make the prize extra points on a quiz unless you're really prepared to give someone 35 points. Choose 3 to 5 scenarios to use with your class. 4 are provided in the lesson and several more in the lesson slides. If you will be teaching this lesson to more than 1 class in a day, consider coming up with additional disaster scenarios or using only some of the scenarios with each class. Word will travel fast, and when prizes are involved, the answers to your obscure disaster questions won't be so obscure by the last class of the day. Explain the rules of the game. Each person begins with 5 tickets. In each round, 1 person will be chosen to be the contestant. They have the task of answering a question about a disaster problem. The contestant and all the students will answer each question by writing it down on a paper at their desk. Students that answer correctly get to keep their ticket, but students with an incorrect answer or no answer at all forfeit a ticket. If the contestant is wrong, they also forfeit a ticket. But if they're right, they keep their ticket along with all the tickets forfeited by students that answered incorrectly. A new contestant will be chosen each round.
Everybody's going to answer this first question, okay? If you get this correct, you get everybody who doesn't answer it correct ticket. You've seen this game. Yeah. The same idea as with 1 versus many or something like that, yeah, is the name of it. And if you don't, you lose your ticket and you sit down and somebody else comes up. If you guys don't get it right, you lose your ticket. If you get it right, you get to keep your ticket, okay? So you're going to need to write down the answer. I'm going to give you a question and you're going to try to solve it, and then we'll find out who gets it right. Okay, so here's your first question. Relief work clearing debris and reaching coastal communities in Banda Aceh was delayed, that's in Indonesia, was delayed until what could be acquired after the 2004 Asian tsunami. So a lot of destruction, big disaster. We're looking for what they wanted, what could help them clear debris. Okay, before you write something down, I'm going to give you a hint. Are you ready for the hint? It was an animal. Okay. What do you think it was? If you wrote down elephant. Anybody get it right? Oh, we'll come around and get your tickets. Just one, just one. You did?
He actually got it.
You got it right. Then you get to keep yours.
Play several rounds of the game, and after each question, point out that nobody, or very few, in their classroom knew the answer to that question. But someone somewhere had the answer. Use the details in the lesson or the lesson slides to explain how someone somewhere had the right information to solve that problem.
Okay, you guys ready? What relief item is most likely to be oversupplied after a disaster? After a disaster, what relief item? So, what do people want to give to folks and it's not really needed? It's oversupplied after a disaster. I'll give you about 10 seconds. You've got it? Okay. Go for it.
All right, I put clothes.
How many of you put clothes? You ready for this? Clothes, blankets. Yeah. Wait a second though. What's the big message here when it comes to disasters and what we can do to help people probably the best? What's that?
I said we just overthink.
We overthink. Well, who is most likely to know what people in a disaster know? What? The people in a disaster. Yeah, in economics we call that local knowledge. The folks who are there have a much better idea than folks who are removed and then even further removed, right?
When debriefing the activity, point out that people with knowledge of local circumstances were the ones with answers to solve the disaster problems. Although experience, compassion, qualifications, and honors are important personal characteristics, they don't help much without the necessary knowledge. While caring and hard work are important qualities, they may not be enough to produce the desired outcomes. Our ability to respond to disaster problems is shaped in large part by the institutions we charge with the task. Markets are an institution. Market prices communicate information about what is available and what is wanted, and they provide incentives for both producers and consumers to make choices that solve disaster problems. Government is also an institution. Government can create rules of the game that empower and reward entrepreneurs for solving disaster problems. Maintaining rule of law and enforcing property rights are two more necessary roles for government to play during and after a disaster, so individuals are empowered to use their local knowledge to solve the next disaster problem.